Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Simply Colorful FiberCast. This is Season 5, Episode 2. Today's date is January 12th, 2018. My name is Lynn, and I'm your host. Welcome. Grab a project and let's sew together. I'm so glad you could join me. We have a fun night planned, and I'm so glad you can join me, and I need some sewing time. It has been quite the week. I need to unwind. Basically, we're going to work on our basket quilts. So send in your pictures always to Lynn at simplycolorful.com if you're working on a basket quilt or anything you're working on, anything fiber related or even not. Just what are you doing on this Friday night here, Saturday in Australia, middle of the night over in the UK. So hi, Carol, and hi, Anne. Send pictures of what you're working on. We're going to continue working on the basket, and I wanted to give you an update on that. And then I have so many updates to tell you about. First and foremost is I wanted to tell you about last Saturday's workshop. We made the modern chopstick quilts. This is Yvonne's quilt top. Isn't that fun? I'm going to be sharing with you the quilt tops over the next couple of weeks that have been made. So that was just a ball, and I'll tell you more about that. We're going to do our basket quilt. We'll talk about the workshop. We'll also talk about some Quilters Choice cards from Color Wheel Quilts. We have a sneak peek at their cards, and we'll talk about some future projects that we're planning to do with those. I don't think you're going to want to miss it. And I think that's about it. Send your emails to Lynn at simplycolorful.com. So a few weeks ago, we started our basket quilts, and I started the poinsettia quilt. And I currently have, the quilt that I've designed has 12 baskets. And I'm trying my darndest to stick to the same basket for all 12. I have 6 of them done. So I have 6 that all the embroidery is done, and they're all pretty much the same. I'm using variegated embroidery floss, so there's some difference, especially in like the handles. There was a question, someone asked me, what am I doing around the handles in addition to coloring them? Well, I'm coloring them with crayons, and then I'm using variegated embroidery floss, and I'm just doing a simple stitch around it, the outline stitch. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are all embroidered. I have 2 more that are colored and ready for embroidery. I've been doing this at night downstairs. It's working so well. I get to go sit with Bob, and we watch TV, and we talk, and we sit by the fire. It's been so cold around here. We had to huddle by the fire. It's not as bad. In fact, there's a big thaw around here. So 2 of them are drawn on, and then 4 more. Last week we worked on the baskets. This week I have put them together. I still have to peel off some of the paper, like the paper backing here. I used this newsprint that KB sent to me for a gift maybe last year. Man, I'm using lots of things that KB sent me, from the paper and then the light box, the Caterpillar light box that's just a plain glass is amazing. I have it downstairs. And a few of you have asked about that. Amazon is sold out of them. But go ahead and look and see. Keep watching. I suspect they'll come back. It's called Caterpillar LED. I don't know what the rest is. It's on the Simply Colorful website. A link to it. So this is very therapeutic. Grab a project, man. This is the speed I needed tonight. It has been so busy since the turn of the year. And I have Doll Club tomorrow. For anyone who's out there from Doll Club, hello, see you tomorrow. We're going to make lace crowns. Barb Roman is doing that. Does anyone know what that means? That means taking pieces of lace depending on the size of your doll, if your doll's head is this big, the crown's only going to be that big. And so you don't need that much lace. And somehow, and I'm going to learn this tomorrow, you figure out how to make it stiff and stand up like a crown, and possibly adorn it with beads and crystals and all sorts of fun things. I don't know if you use sugar water or how you get it to be stiff, but I'm going to learn something new tomorrow. Okay. So I was counting 6, 7, 8. This is 9. Here's 10. And again, one thing I did do is I've already peeled off the tops here, and I've stitched down my 1/4 of an inch seam. I don't know if you can see that. I know some of you watch on your phone and it's really hard to see. But I did that on all of them so that when we put the embroidery on the top and when we color on the top, you don't see the 1/4 inch seam up of all the scrappiness. Anyway, so there's that. So this is 10, if I've done this right. After we do this, we're going to find some off-whites and tan scraps. We're going to dig through the scraps tonight, and I'm going to do more strip piecing for possibly the border or possibly the sashing. I have a fair amount of this off-white, and part of me likes the idea of floating the blocks so I can do some quilting around it. If Maureen is out there, hello. I'm having a blast with your quilts. I'm learning. Speaking of learning, Maureen brought over some wall hangings and some art quilts that she will have over in Millbury later this spring. And she's challenging me to do some custom quilting, which is good. It's making me learn. So I just, as you might imagine, this makes a mess on the floor. But if you just know that going in and you do them all, it's fine. And then I'm going to leave the bottoms because I don't know if I showed you this last time. I'm hand sewing the bottom piece of that white there rather than setting in the Y seam. It's just been easier for me. Let's see. A couple of you said last week I seemed serious, and I think I cut us short. It was just, there was so much going on, and I was still not prepared for my workshop the next day. So I'm sure that was on my mind. But in the end, oh, and you'll appreciate this. The instructions I wrote for this modern chopsticks quilt, they were very loose. I didn't even know what size the finished blocks would be because everyone's fat quarter was a little different. And I'm so frugal, rather than just saying trim up your fat quarter to 15 inches by 18 inches. Instead, I say look at all 16 of your fat quarters after you've inserted all of your chopsticks. Then figure out the biggest size you can cut them all to be the same size. Like look at your least common denominator. I made it way too hard. I should have just acknowledged there would be waste and said, cut them all 15 by 18 or whatever that number is. So I learned, that's one little thing I learned by basically testing the workshop with my friends. The other thing was I didn't have any good visual aids for each step. So I should have had that. I had one finished quilt, but I didn't have any pieces that I could show along the way. I purposefully didn't work on my own quilt because I wanted to be attentive to everyone else. So that's one thing. And the venue could not be beat. I tell you, the studio on the hill over in Holliston, Becky and Wilson McDonald are doing it right. That is just a wonderful place for a quilting experience. Oh, and we met a new quilter. Welcome, Jose. It's like Renee because it has two E's. Jose. She made an amazing quilt, and she is new to full-size quilts. She makes runners, etc. And in fact, let me show you that before we go any further. I just can't not show you this. So Sue and Pat last Friday night, before we came on here, helped me and cut out a kit for one of these modern chopsticks quilts. They brought it on Saturday, and Jose turned it into a quilt. Now these are all of these fabrics came from Chris Meyer's friend at work, his friend or his mother's stash. Isn't this fun? And there's a combination. Deb, some of your individual pieces are in here. I love the colors Jose used. Basically, Sue and Pat picked out the background colors, and then Jose picked the chopsticks. So you'll see them. I'll post all of these online eventually. But between that and this one, I can't wait to show you more. That was the best part of the whole day, is seeing, and of the coming weeks, is seeing what people come up with. Such creativity. Okay. I have paper piecing. Let me see who's out there. Did I bring my big one? I hope I did. There's my big computer. Why use just one computer when you can have two? It's downloading. Hey. Oh, Sue. Hello, Sue, out in Chicago, outside of Chicago. Sue has sent over her Lucy Boston block. Oh, she says, hi, Lynn, I'm watching tonight. I've been working on another Lucy Boston block. Look at that. Sue, that is stunning. And that's all fussy cut. And now she's English paper piecing it together. Oh, and I love your scissors. Oh, wow. She says, have about half of it hand sewn together. Picture below is it before it's stitched together. Very cold and dry here again. So I purchased a personal humidifier. Oh, that's so smart. It was really dry here too. Seems a little bit better. That's good. I bought lots of cream. Do you have lots of cream too? This has been very helpful with the dryness. Excellent. She says, hope you have a wonderful and productive weekend. Thanks. I hope you do too. I'm glad you're out there. And that's just stunning. Look at that. You keep working on that Lucy Boston block. Don't you give that dear Jane another thought. Oh, Tove over in Norway. I'm so glad you wrote again. I missed your email from last time. Tove says, hi, Lynn and FiberCasters. How are you doing? She says, have you been experiencing the freeze that has been on the news lately? We have here in New England, yes, for 2 weeks, but now it's a thaw, and now we have all sorts of flooding. Not like the mudslides out in California, but here in New England, it was very frigidly cold, but it's passed. She says it's been awful to watch and can hardly imagine living it. Hope all yours are safe. They are. I kept checking on them, and everyone, we're all doing fine. Thank you. She says here on the west coast of Norway, it's pretty mild in the winters, hardly below freezing, but storms from back to back. Oh, I did not know that. Great sewing weather, though, she says. So in Norway, it's not freezing, but there are a lot of storms, and it's dark, right? And your days are very short, if I remember right. Oh, great for sewing. She says, I don't often get to follow you live, but your FiberCast has become a regular event for me and will be in the future also, she says. Oh, how nice. She says, it's a great show. You have such a natural and grounded personality and fantastic humor. Oh, please continue in the future as you have. There's no need to change your great shows. Oh, thank you for that feedback. I had a few weeks ago, I had expressed interest in knowing whether this was a format that was still useful to people, enjoyable, and because I know I still enjoy it. So that's good feedback. Thank you. She says, this year I've got 2 UFOs already done. The silverware rolls I sent a picture of last weekend and a Christmas calendar I cross-stitched this winter. Oh, I love this. Oh, look at, he's just sleeping. Look at that. I'm going to go find your earlier email and find the silverware. That is just precious. Oh, so whimsical. Oh, I see. So it's an advent calendar, I think. She says it's a Christmas calendar. When I sent the first email some weeks ago, you were unsure if you said my name right and if I were a man or a woman. Well, kind of correct name, Rotro. Further, I am a woman in my 40s living with my fiance and 3 boys aged 13 to 22 and a hyperactive dog. Oh, I love it. Thank you for letting me know. And I won't even try your name. I have a funny Norwegian story that I'll tell you in a minute. A hyperactive dog. I love that. Still, I have a need to do some things on my own, and that is where the sewing and embroidery come in. A great way to release some of the stress from work. Yes, it is. And you work, so you work too, right? Hope you forgive my poor English. Your English is wonderful. Enjoy your weekend and stay safe. Quilty hugs from Tove, Ove. It's spelled Tove in Norway. Let me see if I can find, because I saved it down here. Here it is. So this is, oh, cannot download the attachment. Hang on. It's downloading. No. Okay. Let's come back to that. Rolls for my great-grandmother's silverware. Oh, I'd love to see it. Oh, and it's late there. Thank you for joining in. Oh, and here's one that I missed last week that I wanted. Deb Linehan. Carol was asking the question about the color of thread for the binding. And Deb says, I vote for the closest match to the binding, not the backing. That's a good point, because then the little stitches you might see. She says, I'm a fan of gray or natural colored thread. My 2 cents. Thank you, Deb. I agree. And speaking of across the pond, oh, and I will get back to that Norway story. Anne says, hi, Lynn and all the FiberCasters. She says, I gave the Scrappy Square Dance quilt to Mom last Sunday, and she loved it. Thank you so much, and the lovely ladies from Color Wheel Quilts for sharing the design with us. So Jean and Kelsey, thank you. Isn't that the best reward? Oh, Anne, that's great. She says, Anne also says she loves the cute handles I'm adding to the basket quilt. It's going to look amazing when it's finished. Thank you. Thank you. It's really fun. She says, I've been trying to get a jumper finished for my grandson. I'm knitting with one of the huge balls of yarn from Caron Cakes. It knits up. Oh, now I'm not getting any of my downloads. Cannot download attachment. Aw. Oh, and Jean writes, Jean, who from Color Wheel Quilts, she said, Anne, thank you. You made our night. Aw. Aw. Let me try downloading this. I want to see your jumper. Nope. Let me back out for a minute. When in doubt, reboot, right? Okay. And tap to download. It's downloading. That's amazing. It worked, I think. Although, where is it? There. Oh, that's so much knitting. Oh, look at that. It's a jumper. She says, I've been trying to get a jumper finished for my grandson. I'm knitting with one of the huge balls of yarn from Caron cakes. It knits up so soft. It's lovely. And I'm loving the blocky look with the colors. Me too. My youngest daughter is now expecting her first baby, a girl due at the beginning of June. So I see a new baby quilt in the near future. LOL. Hope you and the wonderful FiberCasters have an amazing weekend. And love and quilty hugs from Anne. Oh, Anne. Oh, is that what this is? So here's a picture. Now, is this what we're calling a jumper? That's what we're making. Oh, that's wonderful. So look at this. So that blocking is happening just from the Caron cakes, the way that the yarn is on there. That's great. Oh, so creative. Becca in Columbus, Georgia. She says, I've been busy, dear Lynn and fellow FiberCasters. Ooh, this is fun. I'm going to download while I read this, okay? Becca says, the past week I finished the strawberry picking quilt top, a pattern by It's So Emma. This is a gift for a friend. See photo 1. Oh, you have been busy. Look at those strawberries. I hope that's the first one. Then she says, tonight I'm putting, oh, sorry, I'm out of the picture. Tonight I'm putting the rows together of a stained glass quilt found in a Turning 20 pattern book. I love it, she says. See picture 2 of the blocks on my design wall. I'll be adding black sashing in the border. Look at that. You have been busy. Look at how stunning that looks on the show, on the computer. Wow. If Cindy is watching, Cindy Ramos, I think, is making one like this with different denim colors. That is so pretty. That's 2. There were 3 downloads. And then she says, after much thought, drum roll, I've decided to make the Baskets to Applique quilt by Kay McKenzie. I like the variety of basket shapes and the fun things they hold. I'll cut out the various pieces using my brother's scan and cut, fuse the fabric to the background squares, and then machine stitch the edges. Becca says, I need the practice using the scan and cut. Wish me luck. See the pattern photo below. Oh, 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 oh. You are our hero. Those look so fun. So tell me, the pattern must be available on the scan and cut, right? Sampler quilt from Baskets to Applique by Kay McKenzie. Oh, now that's a neat little thing that they did in between those little blue diamonds. That's kind of a neat idea. I could do something like that with these. Maybe little red ones or little tan ones. Oh, Becca, thank you for that update. You have been so good and productive. Oh, doesn't it feel good to do that? Okay, so let me just get the rest of these put away, and we can start playing in the scraps. Just keep peeling these a little bit. Does anyone have any vacation plans? Not like we need any of, well, I'll speak for myself. I don't need a vacation, having just had all the holiday fun. I need some exercise. I walked twice this week. Woohoo! But it's a start. I just have to walk every day. Something. There's no reason why I can't do it. I've been eating lots of salmon, so at least I'm getting my omega fish oils. My sister sent a bundle of fish from her daughter and boyfriend, from Alexa and Chris, and it arrived here overnight, frozen, and we popped it in our freezer, and we've been eating salmon fillets. We haven't had any of the halibut yet. Maybe we'll do that this weekend. Big weekend around here. We have football Saturday. Fingers crossed that we play at 8:15 or 8:30 on Saturday night. So this is funny. This is when you know it's okay to pull out your AARP card. Bob says to me the middle of this week, he's telling me about his plan for this weekend. He says, yep, I'm going to go to work in the morning. Then I think I'm going to come home and take a nap so I can stay up for the Pats game. He's never said that to me before in his life. That cracked me up. Of course, I'm all for that. Although I think I don't use the word nap. I think I say rest. Take a rest. Anywho, I so hope they win. And I know Wendy and Allie down under, they have teams they follow, the Roosters. It's fun. For me, I'm not that avid a sports fan. But I do like jumping on the bandwagon and celebrating victories. Okay. I think we can call this ready for crayons this weekend. Okay. So 12 of those. And Becca and Tove, you have put me to shame. You're going to keep me going. I'm going to keep working on these. I'll put these over here for now. Okay. Now, I have scraps. And Deb, if you're out there, you're going to recognize these. Look at this. Lots of browns. Because I don't want it to take away from the green or the basket, the sashing. So I think what I'm going to do is really stick on the light side. That might even be too dark. Something like these, off-white, off-yellow. Yep, just enough to not be off, not to be just pure white. Oh, I like that. So this is, ooh, I like that too. Oh, that would work. But this one is feeling a little dark. And I'm not good, you know I'm not good at editing my colors here. I do like to use them all. Like that's probably too dark, but I like the goldness of it. Yeah, but when I hold it up, it looks too dark. That looks good. Okay, so let's just do this. That looks too gray, I think. Yep, too gray. Okay, where am I going to put these? Now, here are some that I pulled out. Oh, I like this. Isn't that a good one? I like that a lot. Okay, that's going to go in the pile. This is too dark. Too dark. This might be too light, but I'm going to put it in for now. Oh, look at these. Having this for the charity quilts last Saturday was so useful, Deb, so thank you for sharing. We'll continue to use these. Oh, and Kelsey and Jean, thanks for the batiks. We will pass them along. Any of them we don't use. It'll just go with our charity basket. See, that's interesting to me. That I don't mind. Oh, this is not going to be easy. Okay, I'm just going to leave all of these here. These are too dark. It's down there. Pretty good. Ooh, that even has a little bit of gold in it. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can iron it. Do you ever get to a point where even your pin holder is full of junk? This needs organizing. I have just been going from one project to the next. I need a time out. Look at this. Oh, yep. Everyone needs one of Deb's little thingies. Oh, pre-wound bobbins. Oh, this is something we always need. A little bone-like circle. Is it really bone? I think it's plastic. It's pretty though. Looks like mother. I think it's plastic that's supposed to look like mother of pearl. And, oh, bad, Lynn. Look at this. I've got my zipper foot for my Bernina in here. Can you imagine the day that I was looking for that if I didn't find it? Oh, boy. Hang on. I have my feet right in here. Not that I use many of them. There they are. Okay. Did I get sidetracked? I think I did. Oh yeah, it was this. Oh, and I have a bobbin that needs to be unwound. You want to see a really good tool. Sarah Kokanowski gave this to me years ago. I like this a lot. It holds bobbins. Of any of the bobbin holders that I've ever found, this one seems to have staying power. Oh. It probably gets dusty, and I probably should figure that out. But and I don't quite know where I got these pre-wound bobbins, but there they are. Okay. Oh, a big pin from the long arm machine. Don't need that in there. Thread, thumbtacks. Okay, this is going in my button box. Okay. Here are my papers. I was going to do my strip piecing on those papers. So I'm finding some off-whites here. Ooh, even though that's dark, I like that. Ooh, this is a good bag. Look at these. Hey, hey, hey. See, I like that, but it might be too yellow. Oh, Deb, we have to get together. These are all cut. You could do a scrappy thingy. What else can I tell you about for this week? Okay, putting that. Well, that's kind of neat. Has little dots. But nope, I don't want that. Maybe what I do is I make sashing, and then maybe I float some squares that are like that color. Yeah. Maybe a dusty rose. This is about my speed tonight, though, just pulling out fabric, I must admit. Let's see who else is out there. Hey! KB's out there. Oh, thank you. KB says a sweater is also called a jumper. Is that true? So, Anne, that must be true. A jumper that we call a sweater here is one and the same. Okay, whoops. I need my bigger computer. That little one is just not cutting it. Again, look at what Becca's working on. Amazing. Who is out there? I hit the download while I do this. So Kathleen, hello Kathleen. Kathy, actually in Florida, she says, hello Lynn and FiberCasters. She says, I joined the UFO Facebook group after you mentioned it. It has been great so far, but heck, it's only the second week in January. Good point. But do tell us what you've been doing. She says, my first one is machine embroidery, crazy quilt designs, 5 squares, tons of stitches. Gosh, I had no idea when I started. 20 to 30 thread changes each square, and the stitch count is 20,000 or more each one. What? It is taking me about 4 hours for each square. My poor little machine is really chugging away. Hope she doesn't break down. Only 6 more to go, then I'll sew them together. Oh boy. Kathy, that is so fun. Look at that. Can everyone see that? That is so much work. Oh, and I could look at it for hours. Look at this with the boot and the lattice. That's just one example square. Oh, and the tree, look at this. A weeping willow. Whoops. Wow. Oh, that's wonderful. She says she likes the basket quilt. Thank you. You sure are doing a fantastic job with the crayon painting. I've never heard of that before. I know. I vaguely remembered, I think, my mother doing it years and years ago. I have so many UFOs, I decided not to join you on this one. That's very smart. It's so easy to just start a new project all the time. And you add in a full-time job and all the other obligations we have, you have to say no. She said, the picture's a little dark. I took it with my iPad. Have a great weekend. Hugs to keep you warm, Kathy in Florida. Oh, Kathy, thank you for sending that. Oh, keep us posted. Carol, speaking of over across the sea, she says, I'm just watching you go through the fabric you may be using. Have you thought about piecing the sashing and using some of the more golden fabrics as cornerstones? This could give you a more uniform, scrappy look while including some of the golds you are obviously drawn to. That's a great idea. You know what? I like that idea a lot. So I think what I'm hearing you say is I make a sashing maybe 3 or 4 inches wide, of all of these lighter scraps. And then in the corners, I could put something like that, or even a darker brown maybe, or a different gold than maybe that gold. And it would look uniform. See, what I would tend to do though is I would pick different colors and that wouldn't work. So I've got to get good at that. That's a little bit darker. Thank you. Thank you for that suggestion, Carol. I'm going to do that. I'll see what it looks like, and maybe I'll try different cornerstone colors. Ah, excellent. Ooh, what are these? Ooh, that's too folly, but that is a cute piece. It's a nice piece of fabric. Ah, oh, Carol, I'm so glad you're out there. Let's see. Oh, Becca says about the cut and scan. She writes back. She says, I will scan. Oh. So the Brother cut and scan, she scans in the paper designs, the shapes from that basket quilt to the cut and scan and save them as separate components. Then I'll load the fabric and tell the machine to cut the pieces I want from that fabric. Wow. I think I'll add the fusible back into the fabric scraps first before cutting it. I hope that works anyway. I think that's a great idea. And I vaguely remember, now that you say that, Sarah Kokanowski made some banners for her church, and they had black scroll applique. And she definitely did add the fusible on the back before she ran it through her cutter. Oh, you have to keep us posted. Aw. And she says, thank you. She says, I'm impressed at you trying out the crayon coloring technique and embroidering your blocks. You're my inspiration. Oh, thank you, Becca. Ah. Oh, Carol. I'm reading my email backwards. Sorry. She says UFOing. Hope you've all had a good week. This week I have put Ringo Lake down and done a little work on the UFO. I finally got the scrappy quilt laid out and have been sewing the rows together tonight. Look at that. Oh. You sent us pictures of just the individual squares you were working on. Please excuse the stripes, my design wall. Can you call it a design wall when it's a sheet clamped to the curtains? Yes, you can. Definitely. But the candy striped brushed cotton sheets do the best job of holding the blocks. Totally. You know what else I was reminded this past weekend? Any of those picnic tables, picnic table cloths that you put, they're kind of throwaway. They're plastic on one side and they're flannel on the other. People use those, and that seems to work really well. And you can roll it up when you're done, and it holds things. Oh, that's great. Yay, Carol. Marquet. Oh, Marquet, look at this. So Jean and Kelsey, get ready. She says, happy Friday, Lynn and all. I'm working on the On Ringo Lake mystery again after being laid up in bed with the flu and stomach virus for 4 days. Still not 100%, but feeling much better. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you aren't feeling well. That flu here in the States is really, the news is saying it's very bad. So I'm glad you're feeling a little better. She says, I like your basket blocks. Cannot wait to see the finished quilt. Thank you. And on your show, please don't change a thing. I really enjoy it. Okay. All right. Good. Thanks, Marquet. She says, I cannot wait to get back to my scrappy square dance blocks. I think when that little quilt gets finished, it is really going to be very fall looking. I'm liking it better and better each time I look at the picture. I cannot remember if I've shown it or not. Here's a picture. Actually, oh, I'm liking that. Look at that. I like how the little butterflies there that are yellow really set it apart. Each one looks so different, doesn't it? Oh, Marquet, that's great. Marquet says in Kentucky they're supposed to get ice tonight. Some places already have 1/4 of an inch and over an inch of snow on top of that. Yikes. Great time to be home sewing as long as the electricity stays on. Have a great weekend. Your friend, Marquet. You too. And I hope that electricity stays on. Oh, and P.S. Thank the ladies for the pattern. It is so pretty. Thank you, Kelsey and Jean. Oh, Carol's out there. Hello. Speaking of Kelsey and Jean, we should get to those Quilter's Choice cards. Oh, Carol says, hi, Lynn. I love the modern chopsticks quilt behind you. Yvonne, she did that in the workshop. Didn't she do a nice job? My coworkers loved their quilts. Oh, thank you for quilting them for me. Attached are my number 4 and 5 quilts. I think I might be getting the hang of quilting. Happy sewing, Carol O. Okay. These are 4th and 5th quilts ever made. Do you think this woman is a natural? There's number 1. Oh, I need to clean my iPad. My mother even gave me little things to clean it in my stocking. I hope you can't see how dirty it is online. Okay, so there's Carol's. Maybe that's 4. And that's 5. Just beautiful. And you know what, Carol? I never noticed it, but now that I look at this on the computer, it almost looks like the blue is the dark blue is behind your light blue, and you can see it through. Looks like it's translucent almost. Beautiful. I'm glad they like them. Ah, amazing. I can't wait to see the next one you do. Oh, Wendy. And then I promise I will get to the Quilter's Choice cards. I want to wrap up with that. Hey, hey, Wendy. Down under, she says, hello, Lynn and everyone. Your baskets are lovely, Lynn. The quilt behind you is very striking. I would love to make that too. Why not just add another UFO? Ha ha, she says. I know. It's, I don't know what to say. This one, the modern chopsticks, works up very fast. So if you do need a quilt, granted it's a certain style, right? It's modern, but it works up pretty fast. You just need a big area to do your cutting and your whacking and stacking and ironing. Anyway, speaking of UFOs, Wendy says, I'm currently stitching on the binding of a scrappy king-size quilt for Luke using all the scraps from quilts I've made him since he was a baby. I used phone book paper. Hang on. I used phone book paper for the foundation squares. It's still awfully hot and dry here, but hoping for rain. My new grandbaby will be here early next week. I can't wait. Have a great weekend. As always, love, Wendy. Look at those scraps. Oh, Luke is a lucky guy. I want to make that quilt. Yep. I like that. Now, are all of your scraps? No, they're different sizes too, aren't they? Oh, I love how you've distributed the values and the colors. That's beautiful. Aw. Oh, and here's another picture of it. Wow. Such talent, you guys. Norma. Hello, Norma. She says, hope everyone has a great weekend. I'm watching FiberCast as I work on Clue 6 of On Ringo Lake. I'm curious to know if you or any of the others are doing the Pat Sloan Block of the Month Let's Go Camping. I am not, but it looks fun. Norma says, I'm going to save each pattern block so I can try to do it after I get my UFOs done. It looks like it's going to be a fun quilt. I agree. I would love to see you do that too. Oh, I'm glad you're out there. I hope you're well. I want to make sure I say hi to everyone. Amy Russell, Maureen, Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. Lima. Okay. So for the last couple of minutes, so let's just recap, and then I want to preview some things that are coming in future FiberCasts that I'm really excited about. As a recap, we're still working on the basket quilt. I have 6 of them done. The other 6 are in process, so I'll keep working on these at night, the embroidery. I'll make some sashings from these light colors, and I'll think about having darker cornerstones around each of those squares. So next week, I'll try to do some sashing before next week, and then we can play with the sashing placement and hopefully start piecing it together. Maybe do a little more sashing next week. We'll see how it goes. And without further ado, oops. Got everything cleaned up. So I received a gift from those wonderful women at the Color Wheel Quilts, Kelsey and Jean. Their latest product is now officially available, and I could not be more excited. These are Quilter's Choice card decks. I'm going to open them here in front of you. They're half square triangle patterns, 54 in each of these. There's a card deck 1, a card deck 2. I did a workshop with them and I made one of them. So what are they? 54 in each. So 108 different patterns that you can do with the same set of half square triangles. To watch people do it is so fun. So if you have any quilt, if you're in a quilt guild or you have a group of people that you would like to bring together, these cards are so fun. I'm going to open it in 1 minute. I just have to check to make sure that I have the URL. And I'm sure I do. Okay. So these are available on the Color Wheel Quilts Etsy store. I'm opening it up right now. Okay, well that opens up. Anywho, this is my present. And we have invited Jean and Kelsey to come on FiberCast and help us make some of these quilts and show us and talk to us about them. And they have graciously accepted. They've also graciously accepted to offer our FiberCast viewers a discount on deck number 2. And it's on their Etsy site. You just have to use code FiberCast. They're very well packaged, I must say. I'm being extra careful too. I don't have to. Okay. Oh, these are awesome. Oh, they're like the cards that my mother used to have when she played bridge. They're plastic. They're not paper. They're like a plastic coated paper. I love them. Okay. So deck 1 of Color Wheel Quilts. It says hours of fun for a workshop, retreat, or charity quilting event. And it tells you how to prepare. You make half square triangles. It tells you how to do the event and then how to have a big finish. There are options that are listed here. OMG. Look at that. So you sew 144 half square triangle blocks. And then you can make any of these combinations. And I have seen some of them in person and they're stunning. In fact, go to the Color Wheel Quilts Facebook page. There's one on here, I think this one, that might be candy cane or it's called braid, but it reminded me of a candy cane. It's red and white that Jean has done recently. Capsizing. Oh, I'm going to spend hours looking at these. Carnation. Center diamond. So again, you use the same 144 half square triangles and look at the different combinations we can make. Oh, and this one, I just quilted this one for Joyce, and it was stunning. So you can also make them in different sizes, right? You can make half square triangles that are 10 inches or 5 inches or 2 inches, and your quilt will expand. Wow. Kelsey and Jean, thank you. Thank you for these. I am going to enjoy looking through them all and thinking about what we should make together with them. Wow. I love this card too. Oh, this is fun. Double your fun by using patterns from deck 1 and deck 2. Do a Yankee swap for your pattern selection. That's a cool idea. So you put these on the table. Anyway, I wanted to share these, and I won't talk about them too much more other than if I pique your interest, stay tuned. So, oh, and it's, again, Color Wheel Quilts on Etsy is the store. And they're right there. Okay. I think that's a wrap. I have had such a nice time. I'm much more relaxed, and I'm ready for the weekend. I hope you are too. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Friday night here on FiberCast at 8 p.m. Eastern. Bye, everyone.